Hello everyone and welcome back to Monsters of the Past. As always, I'm your host Mr. G, and today we've got our third double feature. In today's episode, we're talking about Spinosaurus' smaller cousins. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Suchomimus and Baryonyx. Suchomimus means crocodile mimic, and it was a member of the Spinosaur family. It was a carnivore and it lived during the early Cretaceous in Niger. Size estimates for Suchomimus place it at around 40 feet long. These estimates come from the fact that the current biggest specimen is a subadult, which still has growing to do. The discovery of Suchomimus was a very important one, as it marked the point where paleontologists realized that both Baryonyx and Spinosaurus, which at that point were thought to have belonged to different families, were actually members of the same family. So basically, it was like a missing piece of a puzzle, or a chain in this case, whichever metaphor works best. Like all Spinosaurs, it is thought to have been primarily a fish eater. Meanwhile, Baryonyx means heavy claw, and it was a member of the Spinosaur family just like Suchomimus. It was also a carnivore that also lived during the early Cretaceous, but this time it was in Europe. Baryonyx is estimated to have reached lengths of up to 33 feet long, though just like Suchomimus, we only know it from an adolescent skeleton, so its true size is debatable. The thing that made Baryonyx famous was the fact that when it was first discovered, there were no other dinosaurs like it, since not only did it have a head shaped more like an alligator than any other theropod dinosaur, but remains in its stomach area indicated that it was primarily a fish eater. In fact, nearly all Spinosaurs are thought to have been primarily piscivorous. However, that same specimen also did have a young iguanodon in its stomach, so some scientists think it was more like a crocodile in that, while they were primarily fish eaters, they would eat any dinosaur that happened to come by the water. Now, one of the main reasons I decided to do these two together, besides the fact that they're both Spinosaurs that aren't Spinosaurus, is the fact that in recent times there have been some debates amongst paleontologists as to whether or not Baryonyx and Suchomimus were their own genuses, or if they were the same animal. These mostly come from the fact that not only did they live at the same time, but just like T-Rex and Tarbosaurus, there isn't much differences between them if you look at them from a skeletal structure. In fact, I myself there were several times in this video when I nearly mixed up the pictures of the two of them because of how similar they look. But one major difference that is immediately noticeable is the fact that Suchomimus has a sail, while Baryonyx does not. However, like I said, the Baryonyx specimen that we know is a juvenile, so it could be possible that it grew a sail later in life. But until we find a fully adult Baryonyx, we may never know if they and Suchomimus were the same animal. But it's all theory for now. And if you're a Baryonyx fan, it was discovered first, so Suchomimus would be the one being renamed. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's look at the cards. Okay, for Suchomimus, first of all, what's with the clown nose? That is a very weird design choice. Secondly, one mistake that it makes throughout the card, well, not really a mistake, more like an exaggeration, is the fact that it claims that Suchomimus could potentially be the biggest theropod dinosaur ever. Oh boy. Now, as I said earlier, we do not fully know what Suchomimus' true size would have been. However, most paleontologists agree that it definitely probably wasn't the biggest theropod ever. And not to mention, as I said, current estimates are around 40 feet long. So this would have still left Carcharodontosaurus, Giganotosaurus, and Spinosaurus being bigger than it. Other than that, though, there's not really too much wrong with this card. At first I thought it didn't have a sail, but they gave it a sail. It's very unnoticeable, but it's there. So I give the Suchomimus card an 8 out of 10 because of the weird giant claim. Baryonyx is a bit better. I kind of like the coloration here. It makes it look like a weird prehistoric pelican. And unlike Suchomimus, I can't really find that much errors here, if at all. The only real error is the size. It claims it reached 40 feet long, when in actuality, most estimates for Baryonyx place it at around 33 feet long. Not too bad, but still an error. So, I give this one a 9 out of 10. Alright, now let's look at some of these Spinosaurids' appearances in popular culture. Suchomimus appears on the website for Jurassic World even though it never appeared in either of the films, although it did appear in Jurassic Park Builder, Jurassic World the Game, and the fighting game Warpath Jurassic Park, where it's portrayed as being the biggest creature in the game, being even bigger than Spinosaurus. As for Baryonyx, it was originally going to be the main predator of Jurassic Park 3 instead of Spinosaurus, but it was cut because of its lack of size compared to T-Rex. But Baryonyx did eventually appear in Fallen Kingdom Jurassic World. The main antagonist of Ice Age 3, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, is an albino Baryonyx named Rudy. Baryonyx appear in Land Before Time 13, where they're portrayed as pack hunters. And finally, Baryonyx appears in the video game Ark Survival Evolved, where its gimmick is that it can stun creatures underwater. That's all for this episode of Monsters of the Past. Join me next time when we go back to the world of pterosaurs. Bye!